Testing, mic check, 1 2 1 2, and we are live. Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you had a good week, or your week is starting out good. This is episode number 52 of the Sunday afternoon sessions where we talk Atlas Earth, everything you've been doing, what your strategy is, things within the game, new things within the game and such like that. So let me know what you want to talk about in the chat. Myself, I am happy to report that I have finished the challenge ladder for this month, which was this month has been interesting because, as you know, this within the United States, it's a much different challenge ladder without the AMP program due to the fact that they are changing the AMP program. It is being spun off into a wholly different company, which we've talked about that in various episodes. And I like that idea, but due to that, they took out the AMP program challenges here in the United States, so it made for a completely different challenge ladder this month. I thought it was going to take longer, but it ended up being a little bit easier without the AMP challenge. Excuse me, I'm drinking an energy drink and it's carbonated, so it caused me to burp. But yeah, so I found the challenge ladder to be relatively easier this month. There were a few things that I had to do to account for the fact of not usually generally within the challenge ladder, I do 2 or 3 AMP missions, so I had to account for those points in some way. I found that I played more arcade games this time around. I did 1 extra level of surveys as well. So there's a few things that I played more mini games. So there's a few things I had to do to to account for the lack of the AMP missions. So, but this is the 15th, so I think I completed it on the 12th. And I wasn't super rushed to do so. I was taking plays. I did play in all the mini games up to that point that I could. Obviously, you know that I'm not a big mini game contender. I don't play for the points and everything. I just play to, get this, complete the mission or, get my points for the challenge ladder. But let's dive in. Let's see here. Oh, I need to go back to the beginning. SHS Videographers here. Good morning. You may notice that I am using a new add-in that I'm testing now. A little bit more complicated than the other chat add-in, but it looks like it looks cooler to me. So as long as it works, I'm happy. Brandon is here. Welcome, Brandon. Lady Sharon is here, says, good morning. Not much this week. Pretty much mini games. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing, like I said, I've been alternating my time between Atlas Earth and Scrambly now, which I've done some videos on, which is another kind of platform where you play games and earn off of it. Actually on Scrambly, I'm like number 6 on the referral board. So if you haven't checked that out and you want another way to make a little bit of extra money, check out my videos on Scrambly and use my referral if you're going to start. Logan's Ears is here. Brandon says Bronze is going to make like Snoop Dogg and drop this live stream like it's hot. No, I'm not a rapper. And I don't smoke copious. I see what I'm wondering what I'm doing. I'm just making sure that this is working. Whenever I click on a chat, it puts it up on the screen, but it keeps it highlighted so I can remember what chat that I've already clicked on. Logan's Ear says, Sunday afternoon 52, isn't that a year? Yep, that'll be a year. I was thinking about that just a few minutes ago before I started the stream. I said, it's been a year of Sunday afternoon sessions talking about Atlas Earth. So congratulations. And when I first started this, I really didn't know how many people would be interested in it. I had been doing Atlas Earth videos for quite a while, and I didn't know. I'm like, hey, maybe people might want to talk about it and, answer questions. It'd give a format for, like new players could come in and, ask questions, stuff like that. But it's taken off and it's pretty popular. So thank you for all you who dropped by. And also special thanks for everybody who supports the channel through super chats or becoming members or buying one of my items, a cup or a t-shirt. Hey, t-shirt, I need to buy me another one. SHS videographer says, another beautiful day. Yeah, you're right. It's pretty beautiful. Spring is peeking its nose around the corner. We had this past week, it was like 80 degrees, and then it was like freezing with snow the next day here. Lady Sharon says, I do have money I'd like to take out of the game, so I wondered if that was fixed or if the problems earlier in the month were just a one-time thing. You know what? I actually removed money from Atlas Earth twice this week. I had a bunch that had been saved up, like 60 some odd dollars, and I had been waiting for that issue to be, squashed, or so to speak. And after a few people reporting that it was working fine for them, I went ahead and removed it, had no problems. And then we had the super rent boost, and I earned another $20 to $25. So I went ahead and removed that because I am getting this strategy together for, I'm coming up, we've discussed this before, I'm coming up on my 2-year anniversary in Atlas Earth. That's going to be April 15th. And I'm going to do my 2-year, not really a review, but it's like an update on where I'm at in the game, what I'm making, what has changed in the game for me, where I see the game going, that kind of thing. But then I've got a new kind of thing I'm going to put into the channel that should be interesting, and it's going to revolve all around, hey, I'm making all this money in Atlas Earth. What am I doing with it? So there's a new direction I'm going to go with this. And it kind of is almost like something that Pharaoh Silver would cover, but I've got a different strategy and I'm taking it in a different direction just to add something more on the channel to talk about. And it will hopefully make me some more money. So stay tuned for that. But to answer your question, Sharon, I haven't had a problem with it, and I've removed money twice this week. So, Power Daz is in the house. Hello. Good afternoon to Poker Mouse, or for you, it may be evening at this point. JPS says, hi guys, how we doing? I finished the challenge ladder. Now I'm saving up to buy badges as I need 4 to get into the 20% club. Nice. Nice. I like the fact that when I'm talking to people now, a lot of times the people on my channel have a much more, a better idea of how the game exactly works. That's the whole reason I started this channel, was to make people aware of how the game works so you could play in a more, make a plan for however you wanted to play. And we play a little bit different every person, right? But what I was seeing when I first started out is people basically didn't know how the game worked, So I'm glad to see people actually have a plan. Everybody proceeds through the game at a little bit different rate, right? And that's fine. We all live differently, right? It's just that if you want to play a game and play it the best or play it to the most efficient, then you need to know all the rules, right? And that's why I started making videos about this. Okay. Sharon E is here, says, I finished a reward ladder already. Nice. Kev Dog Millionaire says, hit 200 legendaries today. Wow, that is cool. I don't have... well, I guess I could say I got 125. I'm like, I don't know how many legendaries I have, and then it's right there on the screen. That's pretty nice. Hey, Kev Dog, how many total parcels do you have that it took you to get to before you hit 200 legendaries? Atlas Antifada says, great to see you, the bearded dragon. Hello from Australia. Well, hello to you as well. I know it's in the middle of the night over there, so I greatly appreciate you staying up late or getting up early, however it is, to be part of the meeting. Sharon E says, I own 150 parcels. Nice. Yeah, that's the first cutoff point for the first tier in the United States. Alfie's here. Alfie says, I've just completed my challenge ladder and I got the LPU and the badge that has made me get the 15% rip boost. Nice. Yeah, one thing, I like the badges, how the badges have been reimagined, and the new artwork, the new badges that you get off of completing the challenge ladder instead of just being numbers. I always thought that was kind of low effort. I guess that's the best term I can put it on there, you know. So Pokemouse says, wow, 200 legendaries. Good morning to Mr. Rob. Thanks for dropping by, Rob. CTD Gen says, just stopping in to share that after 2 years and 3 months of free to play, I have reached $1,000. I've been cashing out since the start, so it's nice to prove all the haters wrong that said it was a scam. Yeah, one of my most popular videos ever was done when I first started playing the game. And it was called, Is Atlas Earth a Scam? And obviously you think, oh, it's a clickbait. But I actually, you know, the point, and a lot of people clicked on it and then left messages in the video comment section, but didn't even bother to watch the video. I hate it when that happens. I mean, I like the fact that people are leaving comments under the video, but it's when it's very clear that they didn't even watch the video. It's, you know, because a lot of people leave comments and say, oh, of course it's a scam. They never watch the video, because in the video I go through and I prove with my experience that I didn't think it was a scam, and I saw nothing that showed it was a scam. Obviously, when I make my video 2 years later, obviously if it was a scam, would I still be playing 2 years later? No. I mean, common sense would tell you that, right? But I took that down because there was a little bit of personal information in there that I had showed that maybe I didn't want to go out. So I took that down. I do have it on my list of things to redo this year. I mean, obviously at this point, I don't think it's a scam. Otherwise, I wouldn't be continuing to cover the game. Like I said, I've really, you know, you can see I've made $862. Of that, like $680 is profit, right? The rest is put back into the game on the challenge ladder subscription and a little bit of rent to AB conversion. Hey, Proud Mama, thanks for dropping by, and thanks for that super chat. I greatly appreciate it. It's supporters of the channel that keep me going. Thanks. Jay says, do you know when AMP is coming back? I don't know, but I was talking to Annalise. Okay, so she went ahead and answered, said morning bronze. Annalise says in about a week or two. Yeah, I had chatted a line or two with Annalise this morning. Just, you know, just asked her, you know, is there any news to pass around? And she said, not really, just that they're working on the AMP program, right? And, you know, I did a short video. If you're unaware of that, then you can check out that video. Obviously, if you're outside the United States, I think the big takeaway from this whole procedure of the AMP program being spun off as a wholly different company, I think, and I'm not part of the team or anything, but from a view of a person that has dealt with different laws nationwide to get software and different services into different countries, I think that this may be of one of the steps that they needed to do to be able to kind of get into other countries. Now, I was hoping that by now the AMP program or Atlas Shopping or whatever that new company is called, would have been into like at least Canada and the UK by now, right? But there's a lot of red tape when you're talking about these type of programs. But I have a positive thought on this being spun off as a secondary company that not only will it allow Atlas Earth or Atlas Reality to have a second mode of bringing in money, right? Because they can sell this service off to other games so other games can use it. But the more games that fall under that service and subscribe to that service and basically use it for marketing, right? Then the stronger marketing proposition it is for other companies. In other words, the more big games bigger than Atlas Earth that are using that service as well, then the more popular it is to be used as a marketing vehicle for other companies. Hopefully that attracts or makes it more attractive for more sandwich shops and whatever kind of companies want to use it for advertising. Also, the secondary step is hopefully it being spun off as, and I know this is kind of boring discussion, but this is my thought process on it, that it's a needed step before bringing into other countries. So that's where I stand on that. Poker Mouse says, well done on 52 Atlas Earth streams. Well, thanks. I think you've been here for most of them. I appreciate the channel support greatly. Mr. Rob says, I like to smoke copious. It's been a long time since I did that. Back in my younger years. I don't really like smoking. Smoking anything. It makes me cough a lot. Donnie S is here, says, good day, everyone. I saved up 1,800 Atlas bucks this week and did not pay out after the $10, saving up for landmarks. Don't know yet what kind of bucks money we need, but I'll keep saving up. Well, it's interesting. Have you found, hey, Donnie, have you found, I know you live in the Netherlands, right? Have you found any landmarks around you? I know this has been a discussion topic since I did that last video on landmarks in here in the United States. They are roped off already. In other words, if you go to them, they're just like all green, right? But this has not occurred outside the United States as of yet. So a lot of people are asking questions and that I don't necessarily know the answer to, and I don't know if Annalise knows the answer to, because when they take a, like I think there are landmarks outside the United States, say like the Eiffel Tower or something that would have to be on the landmark list that people own parcels in that. So since they're not roped off, when that happens, what happens to the land the people own? Do they maintain a parcel? It just gets forced to the edge? Do they? I don't know. But that'll be interesting to find out. But the point is that I don't think that landmarks, in fact, I looked at a few landmarks worldwide that would have to be on the list, like the big landmarks worldwide, right? And they're not currently roped off. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But let me know if you have any around you that you have seen roped off, so to speak. Jag's Domain is here. Hello to you as well. Lady Sharon says, I'm kind of stuck on arcade games. I'm almost out of time with the banker game, so I've been trying on that, but I feel like I have to play it practically 24/7, which of course I can't do. Yeah, I've noticed that. In fact, on that one game I was playing, it's an unraveling your sewing type game. I got I went to like level 200 this week, and I got like 15 Atlas bucks or something like that. But then I have to do a whole nother 100 levels just to get the next. Now the next one's like 30 Atlas bucks, but 100 levels I would have to play all week for numbers of hours a day. And that's one of the things I'm going to point out in my 2-year video, is the fact that the arcade games have progressively gotten harder and harder and harder to earn Atlas bucks off of. And this isn't just Atlas bucks, because as you know, I'm also doing Scrambly. The same thing applies to Scrambly. They have a little bit different intervals for the games, and they have a slightly different selection of games for their arcade. And you get regular money. Basically, it's tokens, it's coins, but the coins can be cashed out for money in PayPal and not like Atlas bucks. So the rewards are a little bit different. It all equals money, right, at the end of it. But the point is, the arcade games have progressively over the last few years gotten harder and harder. Now they've moved, and they've also, it's worth mentioning that they've also moved to a more monetization of towards people that actually spend in game. So it's been proven, and people have talked about it from time to time, that if you actually spend a little bit of money in these arcade games from time to time, then that kind of puts you in a different bracket of how much. Now, I don't know if the denigrations of when you get an award, like level 50, level 100, level 200, whatever, change, but what you get out of it will go up. So a lot of changes going on. And, you know, that kind of goes hand in hand with the fact that the monetization of the ads has changed as well. The ads are stretched out. You have to click on them a number of times. You know, this whole thing we've been talking about, it's changing, and it's worth talking about, but there's not a whole lot we can do about it other than if you don't want to play, don't play, right? So. Sharon E says, I need my old email changed in Scrambly. They sent me an email saying that will take several weeks to answer my question due to so many new members. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I think I've been playing for like a month and a week now, and it's going pretty well. I've made, I don't know, 20, 35, probably about 40 bucks, all considering, in a month and a week. But that's including what I've made in the game, and also including what I made off of referral program. So thanks to those who use my referral code. I greatly appreciate it, because once you get up on the referral code board, in other words, you climb your ladder. Like I said, I'm number 6. Once you get in the top 10, you start getting a percentage bonus. So I'm getting 10% bonus on that. So if anybody has a YouTube channel or other methods of social media, put your code out there or your link and try to get people to sign up, and it'll help you out. So you don't get, depending upon which referral you use. And I'm talking about this chiefly if you're in Atlas Earth and you're listening to this because you removed the referral codes. That referral code made me a little bit of extra money as a YouTuber. So yes, I had to find a different way to make a little bit of extra money now that Atlas Earth removed it from. So that's why we're talking about that. And plus, I mean, it's a great way, and it's a great way to have a different selection of video games to choose from if you are coming up kind of lean on the Atlas Arcade, which sometimes from time to time that happens. You're not finding anything, or you're just finding these games that are kind of a joke. You can go over to Scrambly and find a different selection of games. Sometimes they're going to be overlap, but yeah. Either way, good luck with that. Jags Domain says over 100 land and the money starts racking up fast. Yeah, it's this game, Atlas Earth, is just one of those things that I saw a Reddit post earlier that kind of got me thinking. And the Reddit post was something to the effect of, well, I've been playing for a couple months and it's just not going anywhere. The first couple months you play in Atlas Earth, it's hard to see anything coming of it, right? But if you stick with your plan, watch some of my videos, read Tasty Wallet's guide for new users of Atlas Earth, new players, and then come up with a plan for yourself and stick to that plan and just keep playing, it will add up. It's like a snowball rolling downhill. It was hard. The first couple months, it might have taken a month for me to make $5. I forget it at this point, right? I'd have to go back and look at my videos. But after that, it just kind of starts to snowball, especially when you start adding more LPUs and legendary parcels, if you get lucky and overturn a legendary parcel. So it does add up. Like I said, it hasn't changed since last week, if you were here last week. But I'm at 101 badges with a 25% boost, which is a top. Well, actually, I'm more than 101 badges now, but for the sake of these numbers, that's going to be the max boost. And you can see, what I'm drawing in here, which is right at about $55, a little bit over $55 a month, or $665 a year, which isn't shabby. I mean, it's going to pay for a few things, right? But it's not going to make you rich. I've never said on my videos this is going to make you rich. It's just an interesting way to make a little bit of extra money doing something on your phone you'll probably do anyway, like play video games, right? So, okay, let's look back into chat. Azur Nice, sorry if I mispronounced your name. I had 500 parcels in my previous home, and the mayor had just 502. I flew back last week and placed 900 parcels. Hopefully he doesn't catch up before I fly back again and beat me by just one parcel. Yeah, I mean, that's something we talk about from time to time. When you take over a mayorship, from a strategy point of view, you want to have a little bit of a cushion so they can't just come back and take it over by one parcel. And once you start getting mayorships, you have to decide which mayorships are worth fighting over. In other words, I lost one this last couple months ago, and I just never went back and took it back because I had it for 4 or 5 months and just got nothing out of it. But this whole year, we were talking in chat the other day, this whole year, I've just been, and we're only, into the 3rd month of the year, but I've only been reinforcing my top 2 mayorships with parcels strategically put down to basically past challenges on the challenge ladder. This month was interesting in that fact because I usually go through a bunch of challenges trying to stack up the purchase parcel challenge. It's a tongue twister. And then I save up Atlas bucks for that. And then I go over to wherever I'm going to purchase parcels, and I hopefully can do a number of those challenges in a row, so I don't have to keep driving back, basically, right? This month, I was able to do 6 in a row, and they basically over time they've broken the net number of parcels down to pass each challenge rung. Made the number smaller, but there's more challenges, right? So like the 6th challenge was purchase 7 parcels, right? So I was able to get into that and do those, and then I was kind of out of Atlas bucks, so to speak. But basically, I've just been going back and forth between my top 2 mayorships and just reinforcing this year. Towards the end of last year, I was kind of branching out and I had up to 5 mayorships. I'm down to 4 now. But then somebody took over my main mayorship and I had to come back and, plan it out and take it over, retake it over. But I'm basically reinforcing. Zolden Regnar says, guys, it's terrible. I'm at 4 times boost now. It's not terrible. Just don't forget your super rent boost. People don't understand. If you don't understand this is the primary premise of the game. As you work your way through the game, your active rent boost, which is what you watch your ads for, goes down. So you get less of your profit off that. However, more of your profit comes from the super rent boost. So, you can proceed through the game and make more money. Just don't miss out on any of those super rent boost hours. Now, that also bears the question, and it always comes up, that what happens if they remove a super rent boost? Well, first of all, they've had 2 super rent boosts per month for going on 2 years, somewhere along that line. So as long as that doesn't happen, then we'll be fine. But if that does happen, that's going to be a big red flag about the game. So, but just understand how the game works. I did a episode or two about the idea of staying at your first tier, which is the highest boost you're going to be at ever, and then taking and increasing your parcels to legendaries. And the math greatly outweighed the fact that that's a waste of money. So you need to proceed through the game in a logical fashion, doing tier jumps and such. And the math, as you go up in tiers, the math points that at your lower tiers, the doing tier jumps makes a lot more sense than as you get to your higher tiers, where you're times 4, times 3, times 2, and then it makes less and less and less sense money-wise. You're still going to save money, but or you're going to make more money from rent, but it makes less and less sense. So as you get to that 4 times, 3 times tier and stuff like that, a lot of times you start making the decision to go ahead and just play through your challenge ladder and stuff like that and make good use of that. So Poker Mouse says, Annalise, this week I've noticed the position counter has gone on mini games, so you can't tell where you're till the end is like staying. Is it staying like this? I did not notice that, primarily because I don't look at the mini games a whole lot, to tell you the truth. Annalise says, yes, we are aware and have that bug reported for a fix. Lady Sharon says, on the money, sounds great. I'll try if I can generally record in case something goes wrong so I can send it to the powers that be. Also looking forward to your next phase with Atlas Earth. Oh, well, thanks. Yeah, and if you have a problem in game, the answer is always going to be, instead of going to social media, put in a support ticket, okay? Support ticket can be found under your account in the game or even on the website, and put all the details in. That's the best thing to do. Sometimes going on Discord or whatever can get Annalise's attention, but the statement there is always going to be, just like in IT, have you put in a ticket? Because that's their job, to resolve these kind of issues, right? Lady Sharon says, and in other news, I've been hoarding Atlas books because I keep wanting to take my membership back, but Atlas bucks. But the reality is I don't feel like driving over there, so I think I try to reduce the amount of times I have to drive over, so that's why I let them stack up. Hey, Poker Mouse became a channel member for the next 5 months. Thank you, Poker Mouse. And EY Spirit Seekers in with the £4 super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate the channel support. Just a minute, kind of a pluggy plug for the channel. If you want to become a member, that supports the channel, obviously. And if you become a Dragonflight member, you get to see the videos that I put out about 12 to 16 hours before everybody else. I had to put a little bit on there, but it's mainly about supporting the channel. Poker Mouse has been a great support of the channel, and thank you very much. Okay, back to chat. The Cave Dwellers is here. Says, I would love to see you do the math of how much you made from Atlas Earth and how much you made it grow after Atlas Earth, like with your post cash out. We're going to go into that because my coverage, I wanted to make that 2-year video before I start into this new idea, because the new idea is going to be one of those things that's going to be borderline. You know how I always say, this is not investment advice. Atlas Earth is not an investment, although I know some people treat it as investment. I am not an investment advisor. I always have to throw that into every video and live stream so that the algorithm the AI picks it up. But The new thing I'm going to go in is going to be like an investment kind of idea. And these apps that we see advertised a lot on, our games we play and stuff like that, that lean towards taking some of your money and actually investing it and earned, obviously the goal here, without, kind of giving too much away, is that my PayPal currently makes 3.5% interest. The goal would be to make more than 3.5% interest. So I'm not going to give any more away. I want to have a surprise for the video so everybody wants to watch it. But that's going to be the goal. And of course, I'm going to continue play Atlas Earth. And this whole program, or my strategy going into the next part of the year, is going to also... The other question... Oh, sorry for hitting the mic. But... the other question I wanted to answer is, as it's harder to make Atlas bucks for me in Atlas Earth these days versus the last couple years, I wanted to find a way that I could continue enhancing, getting more of the Atlas Earth, right? And enhancing my standing in Atlas Earth, getting more parcels to keep climbing the ladder, right? Since they've made various changes within the game. Obviously, I'm hoping they bring the referral code back, but because I made a decent little amount off of that. But it's going down that because not only the investment part of it, but it's some of that is, there's also a plan to roll back some of that, and something you all have been wanting to hear about that people ask me a lot about is the Explorer Club. When will Bronze Dragon ever become a member of the Explorer Club? Well, I've got an answer for you when that video comes out. So part of that whole plan includes the Explorer Club. So tune in and for that. Atlas Intifada says, I noticed that I can't see my ranking anymore on minigames unless I scroll through the ladder. Yeah, they just talked about it. That was a glitch. They're working on it. It's on the known issues list, and they're working on it. Ice Swan says, hi, I just woke up and I'm still alive. That's always good. That's good when you roll over and you're still breathing. It's a good day, right? Poker Mouse says, every stream, not missed one. And I've not forgotten to like and subscribe. Very good. Very good. Thank you very much. Yeah, please leave a like on the live stream and videos, and subscribe if you want to keep hearing them, and, leave a chat comment underneath each. It's all good in the neighborhood. Brandon says, is grocery stores and gas stations coming to the AMP? I cannot answer that. And trust me, I want to know. Just like you, I want to know. And as soon as Annalise puts out more information on it, you can trust me to have a video on it, because I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. That's a tagline from the National Enquirer, which here in the States is one of those junk magazines over the years where you would pick it up on the newsstand and it would be like, Elvis seen in Arizona and stuff like that. Two-headed alien, that kind of thing. I know the UK has its own version. I forget what the name of it is, but that kind of thing. Atlas Intifada says, when I'm placing parcels near the boundary of two mayorships, I can't tell where the divide is between them when I was placing. Yeah, you know what? Poker Mouse was talking to me about this earlier. I bit my lip twice yesterday. I keep biting it. It hurts like crazy. So yeah, Poker Mouse was talking to me about this earlier, and they did the same thing. And they went back and they were trying to reinforce a mayorship or take back a mayorship, and they placed two parcels down, and it was right on the line of mayorships. And they still got the parcels, right? But it didn't count for the mayorship they wanted it to count for, so they had to place more inside the line. So the takeaway here is look at where you're placing the parcels, reference the map on the website. You can actually open this in your phone. You have to open it in a browser, but go, where's it? Okay, so So you can see that, this is a black line around, that tells you that the mayorship is different from here than in here. And if you happen to have a parcel that was, nobody has a parcel here, but it was right on this line, then it's going to be a toss up if you buy that between which mayorship it goes into, right? But be very careful. You're better off if you wanted it in this mayorship to make sure it was well within that mayorship. And EY Spirit Seekers is a new hatchling member. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. I greatly appreciate it. So if you specifically want it in this mayorship, make sure it's within this line, because if you buy one that's on the line, it's going to be a gamble. It's going to be, like my grandpa used to say, a crap roll. Just wanted to put that out there. Thank you for bringing that up, Atlas Intifada. Donnie S. says, I haven't found them, landmarks, yet, but I read that there are going to be 3 in Amsterdam and 1 in Rotterdam and 1 in Den Haag. Or is that Den Haag? Den Haag. Okay, that's cool. BTC Backpacker finished the ladder 3 days ago. Nice. Probably about the same day I did then. So... Southern Coin Hunters here. Welcome. Says 58 people watching. Y'all not done so, hit the like button. Like and subscribe. Yes. See here. Azure Nice says how they add future landmarks that's not currently roped off is interesting. My parcels are all placed in 5x5 squares, and if they mess that up, I'd be mad. Well, here's the thing. That's kind of the idea behind why I never got into parcel art, because I was always afraid somebody would come by and break up my art. So, hey, the King of Queens is here. Thank you very much, sir. I was just talking with King of Queens yesterday. Just a little bit of a news item here, just a little bit of a pluggy plug. I will be doing an interview with the King of Queens coming up here pretty soon. There's no time on it though. He's up to some family business right now, and I wish him prayers and good thoughts. I'm not going to talk about it on air, but send some prayers if you're a praying type to the KOQ. He's going through some family stuff. And thank you for supporting the channel, sir. I greatly appreciate it. Poker Mouse says, I had the same issue. Well, we were just talking about with a disaster buying plots on the edge line. John Luke says, after hours and hours of extensive research, I've compiled a list of all the landmarks in Mississippi I've found. State Capitol Building in Jackson, the end. Well, I'm sure there's more than one. And that list that I did the video, it's not complete. And it's just being put together by a regular player. So if you find one that's not on that list, go ahead and ping him in Discord and tell him where you found one, because it's just through average players that he's putting that list together, right? Hopefully, when it goes live, they will provide us a list of all the landmarks. I would hope so. Antless Intifada says, any news about getting a dark mode? The bright colors annoy me. I haven't heard anything. Annalise would probably tell us. I'm kind of doubting it. It took long enough to get this live. They would have to go through, and I don't know how much work it would be. Probably a fair amount of work going through and redoing the color palette. But if they come out with some news like that, definitely that's something that I would like, and a lot of people would like. That would be nice. The Brave Dragon is here. Hello to you as well. RetroCube says, hit a milestone Monopoly Go this morning. 1,300 Atlas bucks. That's pretty sweet. Let me ask you, RetroCube, do you spend money in games? I'm just wondering, because I did kind of an experiment a couple months ago by spending $1 in a game, and I can't say that I noticed any difference in the games that I was offered. But I'm always interested when I hear people who have big payouts from the arcade if they spend money in the games. Zolden says, Annalise CW, will we ever have the ability to reposition our LPUs? I think that's one of those things that is being worked on. She doesn't have really any news on that. Lady Sharon says, constantly download new games, many which more and more seem to be knockoffs. Yeah, I can tell you that. You get into this this thing where a lot of these secondary games, not high-profile games, are just basically a version of another game, you know? Lawrence says, I just cashed in for $50 for Amazon and bought a 4-pack of Hue Essential light bulbs. We use Hue in our house. I'm not playing to make it an income source, just play money. Yeah, I'm doing it just as like a proof of concept, I guess. Playing games to make money and then actually investing that money to make more money. So, but yes, I like the Hue light series, and we have them in our front room and in some other rooms in our house. Very cool. I like to dim the lights whenever we're watching a movie, and also in some movies I'll change the color palette to like blues or reds or something like that to match the movie we're watching. I also like being able to control it when we're out of state and everything, instead of having to plug in those old-fashioned light timers and stuff like that. So definitely pretty cool. And I've even been I remember the whole kind of, I know you probably didn't want to listen to this, but the Philips Hue series started back in the 90s, and I had this set up on my desk for playing games, and it had lights that went behind your monitor. It had lights and speakers on the side. It even had little fans built in, so when you were playing a game and you're like flying or something, it would blow air on you. It was definitely cool, and I had gotten on it. It was like a beta test they sent me. It was definitely cool, but just to see the evolution of the Philips lighting products, I love it. So anyway, good reviews from me, although they are kind of one of those things you want to buy when you can find them on sale because they're relatively expensive. Kev Dog Millionaire says, that's my way to play. All my money goes into PayPal savings, and I buy Atlas Bucks pack when I get to a certain threshold. Currently, everything has been going into savings except for the $10 that I pay for the Challenge Ladder subscription, which I've been taking out to kind of keep that total of what I've made accurate as far as what I consider profit. Recently, I've started with Scrambly, and that will allow all of my Atlas Earth rent to go into PayPal savings. Currently, it's going to change here next month, but and then the Scrambly money will pay for my Challenge Ladder. So, and you know, stay tuned for more on that. Brandon says, I'm going to be the one to do it. Please like, subscribe, and put livestream into Bronze Dragon livestream playlist for binge watching. Definitely. I would appreciate it. Yeah. Helps out the algorithm, as they say. Definitely appreciate it. Lawrence says, at 4 times level, it would be nice to be able to stop ignoring all the ads except for the SRB. Well, you could. And frankly, I did the math in an episode. At 4 times multiplier, all the way down to 2 times multiplier, you're not losing a whole lot of money if you stop watching the ads. However, and this is a big but, you know, I'm at 2 times multiplier. I still watch the ads. My reason for that is partially that I think that, hey, 2 times is better than 1 times, right? There's no arguing that. But it also supports the company. So, yeah, I hope they're doing well. All numbers look like that I've seen look like they're doing well. Like I said, I don't have any behind the scenes. But, you know, doing research on the internet with various AI and everything like that, what numbers it can pull says things are going well. Obviously, we can see things changing. But any ads you watch supports the game, which is a good thing. And 2 times is better than 1 time. So, or in your case, 4 times is better than 1 times, right? So, but with that said, do I wake up in the middle of the night on a regular basis to watch ads? No. I watch them until I go to bed. I I do as many ads as I can, and then I go to bed, wake up in the morning, start all over again. The only exception is SRBs. When an SRB is going down, then I set a 3 a.m. alarm and get up and watch the ads and until, it'll tide me over until the morning. Proud Mama says, I'm 126 Atlas bucks away from tier jumping to 545 parcels. I'm still looking for another mayorship to take over since I lost mine. Well, good luck. It's always nice to get to that tier jump and actually be able to do it, and then get your first SRB under your belt and make that extra money. Lawrence says, my time is better spent at that low return. Yeah, I mean, I can see that, but, if I'm playing the game, I've just kind of got into the mode of just watching the ads, I could understand, at this point at 2 times multiplier, I'm not so ingrained to worry about having to do it every 20 minutes, but I stay pretty much added up, boosted up throughout the day. I'm not going to break off in the middle of the meeting like I used to make sure that I do my boosts and everything, but I stay boosted. I stay boosted from there's only about 3 hours, 4 hours during the day that I'm not boosted, and that would be in the wee hours, right? Atlas Intifada says, I broke tier early to take advantage of the SRB. I was only a couple hundred parcels away. Nice. Sometimes that makes a good decision, depending upon where you're at. Hey, Heidi's here. Welcome, Heidi. Thanks for dropping by, as always. Poker Mouse says, whoop, whoop, 1 year streaming about Atlas Earth. Congratulations, Bronze. Well, thanks. Thanks for being along for the ride. It has definitely changed over the last year. I can say that. The Cave Dweller says, I am 8 months away from a 15% badge boost. Well, everybody has a plan to follow. I can remember when I jumped into the 15%. It took like a 3-hour drive around the area to buy all the badges. And this is after I had saved up the Atlas bucks. Lawrence says, how do we reboot? What do you mean, reboot your phone? Just do a hard power off of your phone and then turn it back on. Every phone's a little bit different. On the Apple, you hold the 2 top buttons like this in until you see the slider to turn off your phone. I'm sure it's kind of similar with the Android. Every phone's going to be a little bit different, right? But I always suggest that. Not that I've talked about it. I don't know. Maybe it was in another discussion here. I'm a longtime IT guy, right? And one of the ways you can fix a high percentage of issues with any computer device, whether it's a phone or a laptop or computer, is just turn it off and turn it on again, because then it restarts all its services and in a lot of cases installs updates that are waiting and everything. So Zolden says, please hit the like for his stream. Should be at 50 now. Heidi says, you're so close to 2,000 parcels. Yeah, I know. My goal is to hit 2,000 by my 2-year mark. Due to the amount of Atlas bucks coming in for me personally going down, I don't know if I'm going to hit that. One of my thought processes was, should I convert a little bit more than normal this month just so I can hit it? But I'm just going to stick with my plan, and if I have to do my 2-year anniversary video and say, well, I didn't hit the 2,000 mark, that's the way it is. But I still think I've done a pretty good job in 2 years. Donnie S says, I don't make lots of Atlas bucks with mayorships, 8 cities. I get 95% of my Atlas bucks from being King's Commissioner. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I always thought that's pretty cool. And, overall, it hasn't been the game hasn't been live in your country for a long, long time, right? So I think you positioning yourself and being an early adopter in the Netherlands will will pay off in the future. Now, I think that as the game goes along, gets more popular in your country, then you'll have more competition, definitely. And especially if you have like a rich guy pop in and want to play, then you'll have some more competition. But it's great. You've positioned yourself well to get, the new players, badges, who buy badges and stuff. EY Spirit Seeker says, I'm at 512 parcels, grinding as hard as I can. Atlas Arcade and mini games with the odd survey are my favorite ways to earn Atlas bucks. Yeah, I try to take advantage of the specials. Like the survey special has been running this week, and then the arcade special is getting ready to start. I'm going to download a new game when the arcade special starts. Hopefully I've got a decent selection to go with. Azur Nice says, do you track how active your rivals? My main rival has 5,000 parcels, and I track his money earned. I'm obvious that he doesn't utilize SRB all the time, but he does place parcel every other month or so. I don't really keep a close eye on the people that are competing with me. Obviously, I do look in from time to time, a couple times a week, just to make sure to see if they're moving any, on me. So I know whether I have to put some parcels down or not. But I've got a good cushion going on my main mayorships. So I have time, unless they're coming out big time out of their pocket with a bunch of money. They're not going to sneak up on me. But I do keep an eye on them, but not like a creepy eye, like I'm watching, going in and looking at everything they're doing. I'm just looking at if they're putting down parcels on a weekly basis. Decave Dweller says, beware of the ads. They are scams. If you like something in the ad, visit the website and do your research first. I'm not saying that they're not scams. Some of them probably can be. And just like with anything else, like if you receive an email or a text or something like that, if you think that there's any way that possibly could be a phishing or a link to a bad website or something like that, just like he said, do your own research, look up the company, go to their main website. Like if you're interested in that game, instead of clicking on it, actually, when you get out of the ad, go to the App Store and look up the game yourself. Look up, obviously, you could look up, what other people think of it, the ratings online before you download it. George says, is it worth to invest something, or should I just play and collect free Atlas bucks? Well, George, I have a lot of videos on that topic, and I play mostly basically free to play, take advantage mostly everything. I do use the AMP program when it's up in my country, and purchase through the sandwich shops and stuff like that. And I also do take some of the money that I make off of the game and I put it back into the Challenge Ladder subscription, because that's the best if you're going to put money back into the game. And I don't say investment, because Atlas Earth or Atlas Reality in their terms of service says this game is not an investment vehicle. It's obvious that some people do, and that's fine. Everybody makes their own decision. But I've found that if you do want to put a little bit of money back into the game, the Challenge Ladder subscription is your best vehicle for dollar to Atlas buck, what you're going to get out of it. Of course, if you're going to subscribe to the Challenge Ladder, you need to take part in the Challenge Ladder and pass the challenges. So it's not like a paid thing where you pay it and it's all automatically yours. You have to pay, and then you have to, do your different challenges. Sam says, I own 225 parcels and average $15 a month. Nice. Shaman 15 is here. Welcome. AE definitely not an investment. 6 to 8 year break even. Now caps at 150,000 parcels. Advise, do not put personal money in. Take it from me. I made the mistake. Yeah, that's another big change they made this year that'll have to go in my list of changes, and I'm sure will be a topic of discussion when I interview King of Queens, is that 150,000 parcel cap. If you're interested in what that's all about, I have a video from month or two ago. You can go check the channel about that. Kev Dog Millionaire says, I use PayPal savings to earn interest and then buy packs sporadically with it. Nice. I have not bought any packs. My opinion, and I've done the numbers several times, is that the packs, unless you buy a high level pack, like what Shaman 15 and what King of Queens are talking about, what they would buy with multi-thousands of dollars into it. Unless you buy that, the low end packs are relatively bad as far as your Atlas buck to dollar ratio. So you're much better off with the Challenge Ladder subscription. So watch those videos if you're interested in those number comparisons. The Cave Dweller says, next month Bronze Dragon becomes an Explorer. Well, you're going to have to stay tuned to that video and find out what my plan is. But that is included in the plan. Lawrence says, I just finished my challenge ladder last night. Nice to rest now. Let's hope AMP comes back next month. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the new program, and I'll be doing a video when all the details come out. As far as how it works, how to sign up for it and all that. Should be straightforward, signing up for it and everything. But should be interesting as far as I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, that more AMP, more stores and everything are part of it. And they actually lean into the ability that they talked about more than a year ago now of having, like grocery stores and gas stations. And like I said earlier, the hope that this is a step towards getting it into other countries. Kev Dog Millionaire says, Explorer Club is super worth it. On a bad day, you still get at least one parcel a day if you watch five 2 Atlas Buck ads. Yeah, I mean, I've done the math a number of times, and I did a chart in one of the ads. I compare all the ways to basically buy Atlas Bucks. That's one of them, and that's kind of like in the middle there. It's still underneath the Atlas Bucks you get to dollar ratio by doing the challenge ladder and subscribing to it. Lawrence says, it would be grocery stores you never go to and gas stations you would question getting gas from. Well, that's the point, really. The point is advertising, okay? Let's make this distinction. The companies that advertise through the AMP program need customers, okay? That's why they're advertising through the AMP program. They're hoping that the AMP program, or whatever it's called now, will bring in new customers. The big companies don't need customers. They've got plenty of customers. Obviously, any company wants more customers, but big companies, they don't need to advertise through Atlas Earth. So that's why you'll see the bigger companies are not members, right? So, I mean, you're not going to see Amazon. You're not going to see, Walmart, stuff like that, McDonald's. In fact, a couple years ago, I was surprised. This is slightly before my time playing, but Burger King was part of it. It'd be interesting to see if it came back. But those large brands, I would be surprised that would be part of it, So the smaller, sandwich shops and stuff like that, they need extra, people coming to their shops. So that's why they're advertising. Proud Mama says, I'm thinking about joining Explorer Club after I collect my current 90 days. I'm currently at day 42. I just collected on my 90 days this past week, and I'm at like day 3 now. So I'm happy to get that extra. Lawrence says, stay out of people's yards. Yeah, don't go walking up in people's yards to buy parcels. That's infringing on their personal space and personal property. The Cave Dweller says, I buy people's yards. Well, it is what it is, but don't be surprised if you get somebody telling you to get out of their yard. I don't look kindly upon people coming up in my yard. I'm not going to walk out and shoot you or anything, but I might walk out and tell you to get off my yard, right? So, Heidi says, I finished the monthly challenge on Friday the 13th. Yeah, I had noticed yesterday was, or Friday was Friday the 13th, and told my wife when I was coming down the stairs, hey, it's Friday the 13th. Yes, I know I'm behind in chat. I'm always behind, but I try to get to most of what people say. Donnie, well, I try to stay away from the political stuff. Best way to ruin a party or a good discussion is bring in politics or religion. King of Queens with a secondary super chat. Thank you very much. King of Queens says, everyone, just curious, what questions would you like to see for a Bronze Dragon and King of Queens interview? You know what? If you have a question you would like to ask King of Queens, go over to our Discord and drop it into the chat, and I will use that to pull in the questions. If you're not part of our Discord, let me get the link up here for you. I have to always edit the link. Otherwise, it goes bad in 7 days. Okay, here's the link. If you want to become a member of our Discord, I have one for the channel here, and one of the channels within the server is for Atlas Earth Chat. You don't have to talk in the other ones if you don't want to, but join the Discord and drop the questions in the main Atlas Earth Chat, and I'll copy them down to use in the discussion with the King of Queens. KOQ says, thank you so much. Well, thank you. Thank you for agreeing to a little chat on camera and on recording. The Cave Dweller says, Bronze Dragon is big into Atlas Earth when the president is in his stream and on his speed dial. Well, we've talked from time to time, once again, or once in a while. I try to stay on good talking terms with everybody. I don't have... I'm not in this for any type of drama. I try to see it from everybody's point of view. You've got like the business point of view, you've got the top end players point of view, you got the bottom end players point of view, and you got the people in the middle like me, and I've got a separate point of view being a content provider for YouTube. So I try to take everybody's opinions and logical kind of thoughts into account. RetroCube says, I have a Discover Online savings account, currently has 3.2%. That's pretty nice, not bad. Whenever I say pretty nice, I am comparing directly to what we can get off of a standard savings account here in the United States, which is not much at all. So anything over that, I would consider better than like a standard savings account. So My Financial Journeys here, welcome, says, do you buy fuel by the gallon or the liter? Oh, asking. Yeah, you're talking to the other folks that we're talking about in the Netherlands. I buy it by the gallon, but I'm buying much less fuel these days because the price has gone up due to current world events. And also, I'm not driving to work anymore. So I guess that's a good thing, right? I'm spending less on fuel. Although my current vehicle, Bronco, it's got a nice engine in it. It still gets better gas mileage than what my older truck did. I had a 2014 GMC, and it had a 6-cylinder in it, but it didn't get great gas mileage. Ewad the Bug says, heard from another player that your parcel gets credited to the mayorship that you are physically standing in at the time you purchase the parcel. Hard to believe. Haven't tested. Yes. Well, I think I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes, you have to be in the mayorship. You might have been talking about buying it on the line. Like I said, it's a crapshoot if you buy a parcel that's on the line. Otherwise, it's going to count towards the mayorship that you're standing in. Poker Mouse says, I got the missus to join Atlas Earth 4 months ago. It took her 3 months to gain $1. Now the month she's up to $2.50. She is 190 points away from completing the second challenge ladder. Nice. Sounds like she's doing pretty good. I haven't asked my wife, but I don't think she would be interested. I think it's enough for her putting up with me talking about it so much. I try not to bore her, but my wife and daughter put up with me talking about it from time to time. RetroCube says sometimes I spend money in games. Um, Julie says, I do Google Opinion Rewards. It puts money in my Play Store. When I spend that money on games, if I have to or can, it's a win-win. I never use my hard-earned money. My son taught me that trick. Yeah, I've never come out of pocket to play Atlas Earth or any other game. I played Atlas Earth through the plan and strategy I largely made videos about until I hit the point where I was making about $10 a month. And just kind of right at that point, the game came out with this challenge ladder. And at that point, I did the numbers. And, the first month or two, it was kind of a crapshoot because I'm like, I didn't know whether I was going to make the right amount of Atlas bucks back. And that first month was really hard because that first month of the challenge ladder, they went in really hard and then kind of scaled back over time. And since then, they've been playing with the numbers over time, and not just the challenges, but how they're arranged. Hey Donnie, thanks for the super chat. I greatly appreciate it. This is supporting the channel. Donnie asks, how much Atlas bucks does the King and Queens make on a daily basis on being president of the United States? Oh, I'm sure that is going to be on the list we discuss on that episode. So unless he wants to answer it here, we'll talk about on the show when we do it. I'm just largely at his disposal whenever whenever life continues. It's never the same. It's never the same. But life goes on, right? Poker Mouse says, I'm collecting my 90-day reward tomorrow, going to spend the Atlas bucks or another very small mayorship. Although these don't pay out much, it's good to see a whole list under my name. It's all going on. Yeah, I would, one of those things I would like is, did you ever play Risk back in the day? I love the game Risk. This is kind of old school board game. But I loved playing that game and seeing, I would love on the map to where if it kind of shaded an area in a light different shade, if you were the mayor, so you could gradually take the whole map over and see it gradually becoming a different color, all the areas where you were mayor. I would love that. But I like that whole idea because the game of Risk was take over different countries. It's kind of a warfare game, but as you took over countries, you had your tokens, different colored tokens in the different countries. Kind of that idea. I like that idea. The Cave Dweller says, at Julie, I use Google Opinion Rewards. Just play and mode, earn phone, doing the same. I have never used them. I would assume that this is something that would be much easier for an Android user to use. But I've been largely into Atlas Earth for the last 2 years. It's just recently I've went into Scrambly, and I've got another of these play to earn platforms that's on the horizon that I will be doing a couple videos about because I'm trying to branch out. I'm basically trying to make a little bit more money to both funnel I said funnel into the new project, as well as kind of try to prop up my earnings in Atlas Earth, and my Atlas bucks that I'm earning on a monthly basis has gone down. So I'm trying to figure out, how to other ways to make money to help out my Atlas Earth addiction, so to speak. Donnie says, next weekend I go to Germany, 35 miles to fill up my car and buy cigarettes. Well, have a good trip. That's a long way to fill up your car and buy cigarettes. By the time you get home, a lot of that gas is gone. And I don't smoke, so... smoking is so expensive. I just thought about that. I can remember when I was in high school, the fact that I used to get cartons of cigarettes and resell them in the boys' locker room to make a profit. I didn't even smoke. I was just making a profit off of reselling cigarette. And I was buying them for $0.25 a pack and then reselling them for like 75 cents a pack. And I was making a good deal of money in high school until I got caught. But there's so much. Last time I checked, there was like $7 or $8 US for one. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. It's just so expensive. Brandon says or asks, how many Atlas bucks would take to make words? By the way, I'm leaving to go to Kroger, but still have to go to grocery store, but not you. Okay, so to make words, I don't know. I don't know actually what the question is, Brandon. Let me know again if you can phrase it better. Lawrence says the new essentials are competitively priced with other brands, except for IKEA. No one can beat the meatball pusher on price. I like to go to IKEA when I'm over in Pittsburgh. We don't have one around us. And in fact, we were just talking about that yesterday because my daughter is looking to find her own place. And the one thing I liked about walking through IKEA is they have a pretty good selection of cookware and stuff you would need in the kitchen. So that's why that came up. Decave Dweller says, Scrambly, making so much money for Bronze Dragon, he's going to explore Atlas Earth, and I can see it now. Bronze Dragon explore where Caveman loses his. Well, we'll see. Stay tuned for that episode. I don't want to give away too much. Then you all wouldn't want to watch the episodes, right? RetroCube says, my last cash out went into my petrol tank. I can completely understand that with how gas prices have been going. A. Knowles says, good morning. Do you have any mayorships? I do. I currently have 4. 2 of them are my main mayorships because they're the main ones I earn Atlas bucks off of. I used to have 5. One was taken away. I never earned anything off of it, so I never went back and took it back. DJ Dubstomp says, I'm on a 2x multiplier with the Explorer Club, so I get 8 hours of boost. I completely boost up, and I have like 1 hour left when I wake up. Yeah, that's one of the other fringe benefits, if you will, of the Explorer Club. You have, instead of being able to boost 6 hours, you can boost 8 hours. Zolden Ragnar says, hey, Bronze, when you get old enough and have to wake up to use the washroom, you won't have to set an alarm for SRB. Oh, trust me, I'm there. Although I am sleeping through the night pretty good these days. So I think that's a side effect of stopping drinking alcohol. Not that I have anything against drinking alcohol. Love it. In fact, we're here. Is that a couple days away from my St. Patty's Day? My daughter went out and went to a St. Patty's Day pub crawl yesterday. So I was so proud of her. I told her, I said, here in the States, it's a weird thing. But they started this years ago, taking standard crappy beer, like whatever, crappy gold beer, and putting food coloring in it to make it green. And it was a St. Patty's Day thing. And I'm like, this is so gross. I will never drink green beer. If you want to drink a beer on St. Patty's Day, drink a real Irish beer. Drink a Guinness, drink a Murphy's. There's a dozen other Irish beers you can drink, right? and they taste a lot better. And it's not green food coloring, or I guess they put blue food coloring because blue and yellow equals green. But I was proud of her. She sent a picture in, and it was her and her mates. Half a dozen girls went out, and everybody else had green beer in their hand. She's holding the Guinness right in the middle. So proud. It's a dad moment, right? Retro Cube says, you go to bed at 9 p.m., Bronze? Usually between 9:30 and 10:30 somewhere. It's generally because when I'm in a current working situation, I say that because I no longer have my job, but I wake up at 5, right? So I wake up at 5. I've got like half hour, 45 minutes to get a workout in, eat a little bit of breakfast, get myself out the door to go to work, right? So I find that if I don't get in bed between 9:30 and 10:30 somewhere, if I wait until 11 or later, I won't be good the next day, right? So everybody's different, and gradually I think that as you get older, you need more sleep, and I've met people that can operate fine on 2 or 3 hours of sleep. That's not me. Even when I was younger, I needed more than that. EY Spirit Seeker says, I don't do Discord. Would you consider a members WhatsApp group? I don't do WhatsApp. Yeah. I know that WhatsApp is popular outside of the United States, but from what I've heard, and largely inside the United States, I hear about a lot of scams in WhatsApp. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. If you have a question, just leave it as a comment on one of my videos this week, and I'll add it to the list. George says, how do you collect so many diamonds? Like I said, I generally just collect diamonds when we're on trips or errands and I'm a passenger. Like when my daughter is, I generally do it when I'm like riding with my wife and going to the shop or something like that. Or it's one thing I've really liked over the last year was driving into work with my daughter. We carpooled, so we were using less gas and, getting a little communication time, as it were. But one of the side effects was she's driving once a week. I would collect diamonds on the 20-minute, 30-minute drive to work. But yeah, don't collect diamonds when you're driving. It's a bad thing. But if you're a passenger, whether you're in a car, bus, train, whatever, it's a great time to collect them. CJ Hollywood says, new subscriber here. I just barely started getting into Atlas Earth. Currently only own 6 parcels, so I have a long way to go. Hey, well, thanks. Welcome to the channel. I would suggest you looking up on my channel, do a search for Watch This. The full title is like Watch This Before Playing Atlas Earth. And I go into a lot of details. I made this over a year ago, but most of what I go through still applies. It's one of those videos I need to go back and remake, but you can watch that video and it goes through a lot of things about playing Atlas Earth and how the game works. It is on the longer side. I think it's around 20 or 30 minutes, but it's well worth the watch if you're starting to play Atlas Earth. So watch that. And also in my show notes of all my videos, I have a link to Tasty Wallet's guide for new players. I haven't been to it in a while. I don't necessarily know if he's done any updates lately, but it's also a good read through that shouldn't take you too long, but it will give you a great idea of how the game works. And obviously everybody plays a little bit different, but you've got to know how the game works and then make your own decisions about how you want to play the game. Okay. But welcome to the game and welcome to the channel. The Cave Dweller says, out here, I would have to travel the whole state to get badges, so I will need to wait for free challenge badges, but I'm losing Atlas Earth Explorer and challenges in a few months. Yeah, I mean, the best time to buy badges is when you go on a trip. If you're going on vacation or holiday, or you just are going on a trip for some other reason, maybe business. When you know you're going on a trip, start saving up your Atlas bucks and buy your badges when you're going on a trip. That's the best time to buy them. The Cave Dweller says people still use WhatsApp. Thought that scammer playground died already. Well, like I said, I think WhatsApp is largely very popular outside the United States and inside the United States. I could be wrong, but it's known as being like you said, a playground for scams. But I'm sure there's lots of, like any other service, there's lots of people that use it for, good purposes as well. RetroCube says, definitely got a long way to go, CJ, but welcome. Yeah, everybody's got to start somewhere. A. Noel says, how many mayorships do you have? I currently have 4. I did have 5. Heidi says, or asks, do you think Atlas Earth will add more countries in Africa? What country do you think will be next in Africa? I have no idea, Heidi. One thing we know about Atlas Earth and Atlas Reality is they like to play it close to the vest with any information. It's a fine line when you, because I've been part of multiple games over the years, played games and covered them on my channel. And it's a fine line when you put out information about a game and new stuff you're going to put in the game, because generally speaking, what I've seen is, development teams come up with a plan for their game and they're like, oh, this would be cool. This would be cool. And they start talking about it. But then as soon as you start talking about it, people are like, okay, when's it come to the game? And then as soon as you put a date on it, people are going to hold you to that and have a bad opinion of, and be very vocal if you don't hit that. But as we've seen with other things in game coming soon, there can be a long distance between having a great idea and saying, hey, this is coming soon, and then finding out that, hey, this is a lot more complicated than we originally thought. It's going to take a lot more work before they actually go into the game landmarks. So, yeah. I don't know. I haven't heard. That's a long way of saying I don't know. And in fact, I have to check with Annalise once in a while to find out what countries are actually live. There's a difference between when a country's mapped out and then when it goes fully live. So Andy's here. Welcome, Andy. Says, Bronze, you're the GOAT. Arkansas play for the SEC championship today. Let's go. So you're a Razorback fan. Nice. I used to be in SEC country, but no longer. So go Razorbacks. I'm generally a Notre Dame fan, but I like the fact that I can completely understand when a person has their favorite team, because since I was young and grew up in Indiana, Notre Dame has been my team. So I do not begrudge anybody that has their own favorite team. So go Razorbacks. The Cave Dweller says, as Bronze Dragon states, if the challenge ladder equal or greater than 75%, the challenge ladder is worth the dough. I agree. I did the numbers, and if you can complete 75% or more of the challenge ladder, that $10, you're getting way more Atlas bucks for your dollar than any other method, especially if you can fully complete it by the end of the month and get all those extra Atlas bucks plus the legendary parcel upgrade. So RetroCube says, I had a 15 parcel lead. Former mayor went on a spending rampage and bought 58 parcels to take the mayorship and lead by 43. Yeah, that happens. I was wondering if that person that I'm competing against in my main mayorship was going to buy anytime soon. And they haven't bought anything since December. So I am kind of wondering what they're up to. But I'm continuing to add. So I'm not sitting still. Like when next month comes up and the challenges go up, I'll be adding like 10, 15, or 20 and just keep going. They're not going to take it back easily from me. Grim Acres here. Welcome. new member, a relatively new member of the channel. Thanks for supporting the channel. Says probably better to save your unconverted funds and convert at the end of the year versus cashing out and buying packs. Yeah. But once again, that's assuming that they run the end of year special, which they have the last couple years, but that's not always a given. Just saying, I do agree with your premise that that's a better value than buying regular packs. In fact, buying regular packs is probably the worst value. Like Shaman said, a lot of this buying of packs equals like an 8-year turnaround. Trust me, these guys playing at the top of the game have done their math and they know what they're talking about because they've put a lot of money into the game. So it still translates even to the low-end packages, and even more so because as you buy the bigger and bigger packages, there's slightly better value, more Atlas bucks to US dollar. So, okay, we are at an hour and a half. I want to thank you for tuning in to episode 52 of the Sunday afternoon sessions, where we talk about mostly Atlas Earth, but a few other things. I appreciate the support, everybody who's become members and also sent in super chats. Once again, become a member of Discord if you're not a member of our server, and with that link I'd sent, put in your questions you want to hear me ask King of Queens on our interview. You know, I hope you have a great week. This has been Bronze Dragon, and once again, as always, I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy. Prayers going out to King of Queens, and I will see you in Atlas Earth.